The last item on the order paper is motion in the name of Honorable J.S. Malema.
Thanks very much, Deputy Speaker. The EFF is honored that we are taking this platform to speak about the condition and remuneration of mine workers in South Africa. We know that generations of politicians before us have been afraid to speak openly about mining, particularly on areas that threaten mine owners' maximum profits. We are here to change that perception and perspective of South Africa's political discourse. The mineral resources of this country belongs to all South Africans, and only through nationalization will the country enjoy a more democratic and socialized ownership and control of mineral wealth by all, including the workers. Because as things stand now, many of the people employed by mining who do the hardest of the work are black people who work in the deeper underbellies of the earth. The mine workers work under extremely difficult and dangerous conditions and are paid very small salaries for their labor. The dawn of democracy has not really changed the lives of many of mine workers in South Africa. Their salaries and conditions of employment are disgusting, to say the least. An average Australian mine worker doing the same job as South African earns at least 10 times more. On average, a typical South African mine worker earns between 4,000 and 6,000 a month, while mining executives earn millions of rands per annum. Many of these mine workers have lost self-esteem because of their inability to sufficiently support their families. A lot of them commit suicide because these challenges have become psychological to many of the mine workers in South Africa. They live under extreme poverty and their livelihoods are unsustainable. So the problem is not that mines cannot afford to pay workers fair salaries. The problem is that mining companies refuse to shed off their historical baggage and still exercise authority to continue the pre-apartheid and apartheid project of enslaving Africans in these mines and rejecting them in the land of their own birth. A historical attraction of mining investors in South Africa who have been exploiting our mineral resources for generations has always been the availability of black cheap labor, labor that has been and is still working and living in slave-like conditions. Deputy Speaker, as our first motion in this House, we'd like to recommend for resolution by this Parliament that we establish a parliamentary commission on the remuneration and working conditions of workers in South Africa. We propose that such a commission be set up to investigate the conditions of mine workers, affordability of 12,500 by mining companies, the impact of transfer pricing on the South African economy, and come back to this House to table a report on issues that we should resolve upon. Amongst those is a resolution on a new minimum wage that should be legislation for all mine workers in this country. Amongst the recommendations the Commission should table to this House is the legislation on what should be required for all mining corporations, privately and state-owned mining corporations, on the housing, sanitation, water, and healthcare requirements for all corporations to extract minerals in South Africa. This Parliament will be shocked to discover that most mine workers are paid below the agreed minimum wage. Most of us will be shocked about the living conditions of mine workers. We are raising and tabling this recommendation because it is evident that mine workers are not beneficiaries of mining in South Africa. Mine workers have a lesser lifespan than an average South African. They, as the Minister of Health acknowledged, are the second largest group infected and harassed by TB infection, which is the biggest cause of death in South Africa. They are the most vulnerable group to occupational diseases and accidents. Majority of mine workers, mostly from Eastern Cape and Northern Cape, are infected with occupational diseases they got from the mines. They are treated like instruments which are used and when no longer useful, get dumped. It cannot be business as usual. We need to urgently, in an unapologetical and radical manner, change the living and working conditions of all mine workers, including paying them a living wage not less than 12,500. Deputy Speaker, I move that the House adopts the motion as it appears on the order paper. Thank you.
Thank you.